Peter, thanks. Peter Fury, thanks for joining us on VIP TV. And before we, discuss boxing and the wider world of the sport, what's happening with your stable, particularly Hughie, your son, Hughie Fury, and Savannah Marshall?
We're waiting on a date for Hughie. Looking probably it's going to be November/December. So he's going to be fighting this year. We're just waiting for a date he can get on and hopefully get a credible opponent for him. Yeah,
I mean, and obviously, the lockdown's affected all boxers, but he seems to have that momentum after the Pavel Sauer win. He got a stoppage in the third round. You could see the emotion on his face afterwards. He was a happy man in a good place. So, how much is it setting back this lockdown at the moment?
Well, it's like anything else. It's not good, but at least he's been in the gym working on stuff, so it's not done him any harm. So, like I said, it'll just be good to get back in the ring again. So, it's not ideal November, December, but that's what we're looking at because really, hopefully, there'll be crowds again.
That's it. Well, I mean, if there's not, will it be a behind closed doors show for him?
Well, yeah, it would probably have to be. So we're in. I don't really know about the politics side of it or the business side of it. He's ready to fight as soon as he gets a date. But that's what we're being told. November/December.
Yeah, I mean, when you look around the British scene, is there any particular opponents domestically you'd like for him before he moved back to the world level?
Not really. We're looking at international opponents for Hughie, on a decent level. So that's it. There's nobody else out there really. What we're looking at.
Yeah, and Savannah Marshall, is she still due to fight October 17? Is it for the WBO light heavyweight? She's moving up.
Yeah, she's certainly looking to fight for the world title, whether it's a WBO, WBC, whoever's got the belt. So we're looking at definitely getting Savannah a world title fight. But she's scheduled to fight on October 17th, as you said.
Yeah, and Claressa Shields is the fight surely you'd like to see for her, or everyone would like to see. Women's boxing's, come out of the lockdown, getting some, positive things about it. That's most arguably one of the biggest fights of all time in women's boxing.
It is. I think we just want Savannah to get busy, get fighting, get a world title behind her, and that's it. So, and then that fight can happen. It can definitely. I see the fight with Shields happening next year. I don't see there'll be no reason to put it off. So Savannah's ready. So, like I said, we'll just get this year out the way, and then hopefully that fight can be made next year.
Yeah, have you got anyone else in your gym at the moment you're training?
I'm not, Steve. No, I'm just working on Savannah and Hughie. And that's it, really. Just nicely quiet away and getting the job done. The main thing is to get Savannah the world titles. And that's the same for Hughie. So there's a lot to do. I've got enough to do with them too.
Yeah, I mean, is that through choice you only want to? So I know, obviously, when Tyson was around the camp, particularly, everyone saw the great job you did there. I know you was inundated with fighters wanting to come to you. Are you still getting asked to train fighters?
I do get asked from time to time, but like I said, it's a lot of commitment for me, and it's not about the money because, what does a trainer get? 10%. It's not. It's nothing for me that. So, like I said, it's not about the money. So I can't put the dedication a fighter needs to get to be a world champion. It's got to be enjoyable for me, and two's enough. Because it's having a stable full of fighters. It's not a business for me. So, like I said, I don't need a stable full of fighters, Steve. I just got two fighters there. I want them to achieve good things, and that'll be good. I'll be happy with that.
I mean, you say you'll be happy with that. If they end when their careers are over, would that be it for you as a trainer, or will you still look for other fighters, or would it? What would the situation be for yourself when, say, Savannah goes in maybe 5 years, Hughie, I don't know how long, 5 years, whatever amount of time he's looking to hang around?
I just can't answer you, Steve. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know where I'll be or what I'll be doing or anything else. But it all depends. you can never say what tomorrow's going to bring. I'm not saying I'm not going to ever train anybody else, because I do love boxing. I'm passionate with the sport. So like I said, but at the moment, I'm happy with Hughie and Savannah. I'm not looking for fighters.
Now, how much do you think boxing's changed over the last few years? So, from when you started training, a decade ago, whenever it would have been.
I think there's been quite a few changes, hasn't there? You do get quite a few changes. So it's like anything else. You just got to just keep rolling and just keep going, really. I could comment on quite a few things, but I'll refrain myself. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'll end up saying the wrong things. I best not say anything at all. But like I said, Steve, there's been some changes, and but there is some. At the same time, there's some very good young fighters coming through as well. So it is interesting.
What young fighters are impressing you at the moment?
I'm seeing lots of good young fighters. I see them on Sky. I've seen them on BT Sports. There's a lot of young travelling kids coming through as well, which are good, very good actually. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see young lads and coming through and learning the trade and doing well.
Yeah, I mean, why is it? It seems to be. Let me ask you. One travelling boxer I will ask you about is Dennis McCann. Your opinion of Dennis?
Very good fighter. You know what? I didn't see his fight because I ended up having a power cut in my village. But I've heard he's a good fighter, and it's all about the right mentality. And that's the thing with a lot of these young travelling kids. They're they're very dedicated, but they've got to keep dedicated. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So providing that happens, then all should be good.
Yeah. It seems over the last couple of years, there's been more made of up and coming travelling fighters. Is that because they were largely ignored in the past, or because, the success of people like Tyson Fury has encouraged them to go to the boxing gyms? A lot of like when, Nazim Hamid encouraged kids to go to the boxing gym when he suddenly broke through from nowhere.
Oh yeah, listen, every young kid looks up to fighters who's already there, and, they dream to be in that same position. So of course it helps. It helps across the board. So, like I said, it's boxing. I think boxing is thriving with talent at the moment.
Is there any one particular talent out there in British boxing who you really rate?
1 second, Steve. Sissy. I'll be quiet with you. Sorry, Steve.
Is there any one particular fighter in Britain that you really watch that you really enjoy watching at the moment who's not in your stable?
I like watching all the fights. I like watching 50-50 fights. There's no point showing me a fight which somebody's 500 on BoxRec and somebody's in the top 20. So it's I'm interested in good fights, but I also appreciate people need to understand that we are in COVID times. There's no crowds and stuff, so it's hard to make 50-50 fights. I see that as well. And for young prospects coming up, they shouldn't be in 50-50 fights. But like I said, there's also other fights where, it does need to be 50-50, and that's what I'm interested in. I like looking at good fights like everybody else.
Yeah. Let's ask you, looking ahead to this weekend, a couple of shows on. One you'll know a lot about because, you'll know the Dillian Whyte inside out. Povetkin, you've been across in the corner. How do you see that fight going? Does it depend on what Povetkin has left?
No, I think it's a good fight. Dillian's a proper big heavyweight. He's got the youth on his side. I think it's going to be a hard fight. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for both of them. But I see, he does tire down the stretch, Povetkin. He seems to get very lethargic at times, but then he gets second wind and he's able to carry on. But like I said, Dillian's also a big puncher, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I think, the fight can go either way. It's not going to be an easy fight for Dillian Whyte, but I do see him coming through it, either a points or late stoppage. So that would be my guess on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Povetkin won. It is one of them. It depends how much Povetkin's up for it, which he will be because there's big stakes at the end of it. But I'm sure both of them's trained very hard, and I think it'll be a good fight. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, would you like Hughie to fight maybe Povetkin again before Povetkin goes, given the first fight?
I would, I'd love to have that. Love to get him back in the ring because Hughie's grown up. It's all right looking at him. You think, oh, it's only a year ago, however long it is. But you're looking at a kid here now who's a different shape, different build structure. Mature. He's nearly 26.
Still a baby, isn't he?
Yeah, but when he fought Povetkin, he weighed in at 16 stone 1 pound. And now he's like 17 stone 7.
And it weren't long ago. I mean, how's did that spurt come about?
Because of the age, the tall heavyweights. You look at him in that fight, and you can see he's lean, and you can see he's a young lad in there against a man. Because look, you're 6'6", and you're at that age. You're slow mature. You're not like a normal other fighters. He's been slow maturing in his body, but like I said, he's a big heavyweight.
So do you feel he's approaching his peak now? Is it that next year we'll see the best of Hughie?
Yeah, I do. I think his time's coming. I think he's ready, and it's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight, actually, because we're going to see. We will see a different fighter. You've seen a little bit last time, but nothing of anything to talk about because he just wanted to get rid of Pavel Sauer, and he did just that. He just didn't value him and he walked through him. But like I said, I'm looking forward for the people to see, I wouldn't say the new Hughie, but like I said, he's a mature heavyweight. He's a full set man now. He's coming into his maturity now. So like I said, he's a stone and a half heavier and he's still the same. He trains the same. He's just got a lot bigger, and he's a lot stronger as well. And he's hitting a lot harder. So, and like we all know, he holds a good shot. So like I said, he ticks a lot of boxes. So I think it's been good learning for him. But I think now he's matured and grown up. I think we're going to see a hell of a different fighter.
Yeah, and another fight that would be interested to you because obviously potential future opponents like top heavyweight is Joyce and Dubois. I mean, I think you've had them both in your gym at some stage. Dubois, I know, has been up to you before with Martin Bowers. Yeah. How do you see that one going? If it takes place this year?
I think it's going to be a good fight. They can both fight them lads. Joyce has got his own strengths. He might not be so pretty to watch, but he's very crude and he's a tough fighting man. That's how you describe him. But like I said, the only Achilles heel for Joyce is he does get hit a lot. So, somebody like Dubois, if he connects, you're not really going to survive that power. So, like I said, that's the problem for Joyce. But if he can smarten up his boxing and not try and walk through everything, because that doesn't work. When you got them little gloves on, you're not invincible, no matter what you think. Yeah, and you can get caught, and that'll be it. But like I said, Joe Joyce has got very, very good stamina. He's very good down the stretch. He can keep them punches coming. He's a very all over you type of fighter. So, like I said, he is on a world level. And the criticism he gets isn't justified because I know heavyweight boxing very well.
Yeah,
and he's definitely a talent. He's not somebody. Look. He fought Jennings, and if he was not any good, he wouldn't have beat Jennings the way he did because Jennings was in that fight. He was fighting back. So Joyce is a big, tough, strong man. He's a good fighter. And the other one, Dubois, we had him up in the gym. He's got good hand speed. He's quite athletic, and Martin Bowers has done a very good job with him, and he's coming on. Leaps and bounds again. So this is a fight where we will see the best of each one, so it's good to see because it's a good measuring stick to see, what's what. So I'm interested in looking at that fight. It's going to be a very good fight. I know Martin Bowers and his brother Mark are good people and, he's got very good trainers. He's got the best of trainers there, young Dubois has. So it's going to be very interesting. But the way they're bringing him on and for them to take this fight as well, they must be very confident in their man because Martin and Mark will know just what Joyce is all about. So they're not they won't be going into this fight with their eyes shut. So I see it as a good fight. Interesting.
Yeah, one final fight to look at before we let you go. You've afforded us your time this morning. Might not have the magnitude of what we've been discussing, but your great friend Mick Hennessy has a free-to-air show on Channel 5 this week.
He does.
Hitters against Chad Sugden, British light heavyweight title. And I get the feeling that someone like Shakan Pitters is the sort of kid, if he walked in your gym, you'd love to work with because he's got the height, everything about him looks decent.
Yeah, but, this Sugden, it comes from fighting families. They're from Newark. Yeah. I know of them. Yeah.
Oh, dear, yeah. You know everybody.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, he's a tough fighting kid and he's up for it. So that's a good fight to watch, because it's not going to be one-way traffic, that. I'm sure Shakan Pitters, will have other ideas. Like you said, he's got the size and stuff. They're both good young fighters, but both of them want this. It's not a walk in the park, that. So that fight can go either way. I don't have any favourites in that fight. Because Sugden, like I said, they're from fighting backgrounds and he's a good fighter as well.
And is it good for you to see Mick Hennessy getting these shows on free-to-air? Because, Mick's had a lot of blows over the years in boxing and he's like someone who just keeps getting up all the time, dusts himself down and bounces back.
Well, it is, let's not forget, Mick Hennessy, he's done just as good as anybody else in world boxing. He like I said, he's had world champions, hasn't he? So there's not much he doesn't know about the sport of boxing. He's a good man, Mick. He's always been there for the fighters, and that's the way he is. I remember when Hughie fought Povetkin. Mick was in the dressing room with Hughie for 3 or 4 hours with the doctors and everything else. He's very considerate for the fighters, Mick. He's an old school fighting man himself. He loves the fight game, Mick. He's passionate about it. Because if he wasn't passionate about it, he'd have been gone before now. Yeah, so like I said, he loves the boxing. He loves the fighters. He cares about the fighters. And it's good as well now. He's got his own son boxing. Young Michael. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. He's quite good as well. For such a young lad, he's had some stern fights as well. He has early on. So I'm looking forward to seeing. The fights when they happen.
Yeah, Michael was telling me. I spoke to Michael the other week for VIP TV, and he was saying he likes you around him on fight night, and you're generally around the corner, aren't you?
Yeah, when we was over in Saudi, I've done his corner there. I've done his corners a few times, and and sometimes when he comes back to the ring, I think it was in Bolton, he's fighting somebody there, and I said this kid looks a lot bigger than him, Anyway, it was like he got through the fight.
Yeah, got you back.
Yeah, he got through the fight, but it was difficult. So, like I said, it was like a boy against a man again. So, but he comes through him. He's got a heart of a lion, young Michael. He's a tough kid as well.
Yeah, he's tougher than what that face looks. He looks about 14 years of age, doesn't he?
Honestly, you know what? Outside of boxing, you'd never think he was a fighter, yeah? Because I look at him as a little boy.
You must have known him a few years. You must have known him when he was a little boy.
Yeah, I did, yeah. But he's such a polite young fella. You'd never think he was a fighter, But that's the beauty of the sport. The young kids are brought up in it. They're very polite, well-mannered. You wouldn't think there was boxers, but, when that bell goes, you see a different human being in there. So it's very good.
Peter, thanks very much for giving us your time this morning. A pleasure as always to talk to you, and we look forward to seeing Hughie back in the ring, Savannah getting her world title fight, and hopefully the fight with Clarissa Shields that would do so much for women's boxing.
Steve, it's always a pleasure talking to you. We go back quite a few years as well, and it's good to speak to you again.
Thanks, Adam. When you say we go back a few years, I love hearing that from you, but I think it tells us how old we're getting, mate.
Well, we're not getting any younger, that's for sure, are we?
We're not. Thanks very much.
All the best. Take care, Steve.
Thank you.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.